All right, all right, all right. What's going on here? Like my looks like my whole camera setup here is all messed up, so that's not cool. But you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to be sharing with you some concept here that I've been talking about for I don't know since 2020, and then it was obviously on the Kajabi webinar that we do every single month. I'm kind of just weird out because I can see the Kajabi. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just do this. I'm going to go to my iPad setting and just work from here because this is where we're going to be concentrating today anyway. Welcome to the show, Heart Center Marketing. My name is Joey Ragona. And what I'm going to talk about today is I'm going to go over the top 10 questions that I've had since 2022 doing the Kajabi Dream Customer Workshop that we do every single month. We skip 2 months like January and July. I think we don't do it, but basically we do it every single month. And we're coming up to year number 4 now. Can you believe that? So thank you, Kajabi. Thank you to my good friend and confidant, my colleague, Alex Vang, who also is with me with doing that. So I'm really grateful for that. And I've just been playing around today. Hey, how you doing, Rebecca? Good to see you here on the Instagrams. Let me know if you are, if you have any questions regarding the dream customer or attracting them and all that kind of stuff we're going to talk about today. I know you can't really see too much of this graphic here. I'm going to zoom in maybe so you can see just a little bit here. This is what we're going to be talking about. So anyway, I'm going to be doing in the next 10 episodes, the top 10 questions. I'm going to talk about them in depth about what I get over the every single month. And I looked at Notebook LM, which created this graphic for me, which is pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool. And looked at what are the top 10 things that people ask me all the time. And this one here is, let me just see here. I'll go back into my notebook. Okay. So this one here is probably the number one question I get asked, which is how do I find and attract my dream customers, dream clients? That's the number one question I get. And so I want to talk about that today as we go through this graphic together. And I made some notes here so I wouldn't forget what I'm talking about. It's not that I would forget anyway, but I just want to have a little bit of a cheat note here so I can make sure that I'm hitting every single thing. Now, if you want, if you have a question, let me know in the chat. I can't see anything coming in from my Facebook group because I'm using my iPad here, which is basically what I do to monitor, unless maybe I can go to my phone, which would that work? I wonder if I can do that on my phone. Let me just see 1 second here. You'd think that I've been doing this since 2017, that I'd have this all figured out by now, but I don't. So let me just see here. Events. There we go. Event. Okay, so this looks like it's happening now. And let's go over here. All right. And all right, cool. So I think I am logged in to my Facebook group. So if you are in there and watching it, I should be able to see. I'm hoping. Let me just do this, put that here. All right, cool. All right. Without further ado, let's talk about the hunt is over. Let's talk about this little guy because we want to know how your dream clients or dream customers actually find you. And most marketers, they are in this bulldoze chasing leads type of mode, like complex funnels and all these other things. And the truth is that you don't really find dream customers. That's the answer. So if you ask me, how do I find dream customers, dream clients? I'm going to tell you the answer is they find you. And once you flip that script of how you go out and find leads and all that kind of stuff to how do I sell something today to somebody? How do I go and find leads, drop in DMs and all these other things, these outreach things that I just don't do, to how do I serve today? That's when everything's going to shift. That's when everything is going to shift. That is here, right? The mindset shift from hunter to lighthouse. So you stop hunting people, right? It's not about hunting people. Your goal isn't about what to sell. It's about what to serve. And that's huge. And I know that there are methods, or I guess mindsets about selling or serving and not making sales and not making offers. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about here is you have an 20% of serving, and then maybe 20% of actually putting an offer out into the public, or however you do that. You can see that down here, right? And this also has to do with repelling. And I want to make this very, very clear, right? So let me just zoom in right here. When you are moving to the right clients, and we'll talk about that in a second, your job is to repel 80%. And that's what the job of marketing is, right? Every time I say that on the webinar, people freak out. They're like, oh my God, I've never heard that before. And that's because we've been taught to chase people, 80% chasing. And the idea is to be so clear on who your dream client is and what their challenges are, all of the deeper stuff that they want to change in their life. You need to be very aware of that. And it's not surface level stuff. This is why when I talk about dream clients, they aren't ideal clients. They aren't ideal customer avatars, right? That's surface level. That's way up here. What I'm talking about is, yes, they fit the ideal niche thing, or niche, however you want to say that, but but in a more deeper level, you understand them like no one else understands them. And that is super, super critical, because then when you understand them better than anybody else that they've ever heard or spoken to, then you can describe their problems better than anybody else. And that's when they realize that you understand them more than anybody. And that is what I'm talking about repelling. So it's like blowing a dog whistle, right? The old, copywriter, like, what's dog whistle copy? Dog whistle copy is, this is only going to land on the ears of these people, and it's going to be, nobody else will hear this. That's what dog whistle is. So it's kind of like when you say something to your audience, when you're marketing, your job is to repel 80% of the market. You don't want them even being in your world. You're not being a jerk about it. It's just that this relates only to these people, and they're the only ones who are going to listen or watch or read or whatever that is. And that brings me to this one right over here. Let me actually clean up. Let's get rid of that. Cool. That brings me to this one. Your best clients are watching you silently. This is something that is hard to grasp, or maybe it's not hard to grasp, it's just hard to live with, right? Because we all want some kind of dopamine effect. And we just want someone to know that they're getting it, right? That they're listening to us, and they like it, or they comment, or hey, reach out and want to buy something. Go figure, right? That's what we want. But what I found is that most people or dream clients come to me after they've been watching for a while. And it could be, sometimes it's like within the week, within the month. That's what we all want. But the reality is that people have been watching for months. And then all of a sudden they reach out, and let's say you put a post out about, for me, it would be Atlas. Okay, Atlas is coming up. The next cohort is coming up for February. Would you like to join us? And then all of a sudden I get a DM or two from people that I've never really interacted with. And they're like, yeah, tell me more about Atlas. And I think, who are you? And not in a bad way, but I just realized that these are the people who've been watching me. And they even say it. I've been watching you for months. I've taken your stuff and I've applied some of it, and now I want to know more about Atlas. So that education, that serve part, is what I realized, that there are invisible clients. And I learned that from Dean Jackson. I didn't make that up. I just stepped more into it, that there are two types of clients. One is visible, one is invisible. And the people that are true dream clients in this capacity of what I do are the invisible clients. Those are the ones that actually reach out and say, I want to work with you. And here's the cool part. The the not so cool part is that you can't see them, right? You can't see them watching your stuff. They don't engage. They don't really show themselves until they're ready to buy, which is the good part, right? The good part is when they show up, they're basically ready to buy. I'm not saying immediately. So if someone does that to you and says, "Hey, tell me more about your program," please don't push it on them, because we'll talk about this one here. Remove all the pressure, right? We don't want to do that. So, but generally they are past the 50% mark, this is 60% mark of, I already know who you are. I love what you do. I just want to know more about what you do. And then it comes into the other pieces of my pillars, which is respecting their timeline. Is that on here? Maybe not, but it is right here. I'll write it down. Respect their timeline. Okay. That's pillar number 3. And it's one of the most hardest ones again, because you're waiting for them to make themselves known to themselves as they want to be a client, right? So that's the big part of it. Where was I? So yeah, so you're repelling 80% of the market by what you say, because it's so direct to a specific individual, to a specific group of people, the tribe, which is what I'm talking about. And you are attracting people because you are demonstrating and you're waiting. You're using the Costco sample method. So you give your secret sauce away and solve real problems for free. This is the biggest part. We have been conditioned, unfortunately, to save the best stuff, right? Save the best stuff um for people that are paying us. And that's over. That era is totally over. It's been over for a while, but now even with AI coming in, that is here, your best stuff is already out there somewhere. It may not be your specific thing, but what you do, your your information and stuff like that is it's already being um produced or distributed by something else or someone else in some way, shape, or form, and AI can figure it all out. So we need to give our best IP, our best thinking away. And that's what this is about. And if you step over that line of like, well, no, people have to pay me for this, your thinking is what's going to get them to come to you, right? The way you think is what's going to get your dream clients to come to you. To me, that's the most epic way of marketing to people that you really want to work with, rather than somebody who can just, their credit card goes through. I don't really care that your credit card goes through. What I care about is, are we on the same wavelength? Are we the same humans? Heart centered, all of that stuff. That's what a dream client is. I won't get into that because that'll come up. But how you find them is this way: is sharing everything that you have with the world, so that dream clients who are watching you, right, from this sideline, say, wow, I've never looked at it from this point of view before. And this is not on that they're opting into webinars or anything like this. Like right now, this is I'm demonstrating live what I'm showing you here. This is what I do every single Tuesday. I share my thoughts, I give the best stuff away, and there's no call to action at the end of this. Maybe once or twice I might say, hey, do you want to get this? Go over here. But there's no it's just about sharing knowledge, right? So this is a way for people to get to know me, and they either like me or they don't like me, and that's okay. So they just stop following. So they don't have people opting in or forcing them to opt into something on my email list, and then all of a sudden they're like, "This guy's I just don't vibe with this dude," and then they either opt out or worse, yeah, this guy's scam or spam or all this other stuff, right? And that's not good. So I like to use the Costco method, right? So if you go down to Costco and there's people with food samples or all kinds of different things. What do? You go in there, you test the sample, they give it to you for free, and you say, "Well, this is amazing. Where do I get this?" And like, yeah, just down this aisle, wherever they are. That's the Costco sample method. And I encourage you to do the exact same thing. Is give samples of how you actually transform people, not hold it back because they don't know. Because here's the thing: if you don't have let's say if you hold the best stuff back, like you don't really show people how you transform people, then and it's kind of like um it's not the best the best lead magnet or something. It's just something you threw together, right? And people will judge you on that. And that's the truth. So if your people are going to look at your okay stuff or the crap stuff that I was told many, many years ago, just put something really quick together and build the email list. And that's what people were judging on. Like, well, this isn't that great. That's why it evolved to, hey, listen, the lead magnet needs to be something. And I don't like a lead magnet, by the way. I call it a gift because it should be a gift. It should be something where it's like, wow, this is amazing. It's changed me. I'm appreciative of this. And I even would have paid for this. That's where that all came from. So, and now in this world is it's not that you don't have someone opt in or build your email list or anything like that, but think about what is the thing that you can share every day, right? What is something that I can share that I'm not even going to ask anything for? And that's what I've been doing for the last 5 years. And then when I started doing this with Kajabi, with the Dream Customer Workshop. I give everything away there. Like, it's like I've read through, believe me, I've read through all the chats and everything else, and people say that a lot of times, like, I can't believe you're giving away this knowledge or this whatever it is. And it's because that's what attracts dream clients, right? It's not that I go there to get dream clients. It's more that I just know that whatever I share in the world, that someone or someones are watching from the sidelines, and when they're ready to pull the plug to get help in their business and they align with me, they will DM, they will email, whatever. So that's why this is super important, because a sale is a transfer of belief, right? And so what you're doing is you are sharing your unique perspectives, moving people from one, like, information aware and solution aware and product aware into most aware. And most aware is where they're going to buy. And so most people show up with this problem aware thing. And that's where a lot of marketers are. They stay there. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being in the problem aware stage, right? But what happens is most people, including myself, I'm not pointing any fingers. I used to do this. I don't do it anymore, thankfully, but moved try to move people from a problem aware, like, I got this problem, you're right, I do have this problem, to a most aware stage, which is, hey, go buy my thing. And they're not ready yet. And so the whole idea is for you to have a belief, right? That's a transfer of belief. And the chain of beliefs, I learned this from Rich Sheffrin many, many, many years ago. I'm going to give him credit. It's come from down from a lot of people, right? And so the belief chain, which is what I call it, um, is where you have to understand what people are believing at this point about all kinds of things, about themselves, about you, about the industry, anything, and understand what the beliefs need to be before they buy from you. And so that's what smart marketing is all about. And so the sale, as you can see here, let me actually clear this page. Clear the page. Right. Oh, dang it. No, I don't want to do that. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to erase. Let's erase that just so I can keep it a little bit clean. Okay, cool. Right? So the belief chain is right here. And when you use the Costco method and you're giving away things for free, like this, or demonstrating, and you're showing people, then you're transferring you're changing their beliefs. One of the beliefs, let's say, might be right about this, might be the fact that, well, hey, you know what, I actually don't need to sell. I'll talk about the ascension ladder all the time, like, the whole product ladder, the whole low to high, and I'm totally not for it. I'm like, that's not the way to build your business. It's so much easier to focus on the high end part of it only, right? And give away all the other stuff for free, because the same amount of time you're going to put in to talking with people, you could talk to 100 people over here or 1,000 people over here to try and convince them to buy $100 product, or you could talk to 10 people over here in the same amount of time, and you're getting paid more over here. So one of those things, and I talk about all the time, and it doesn't shift everyone's belief, but it shifts the right person's belief. They're like, wait a minute, you're absolutely right about that." And so it might not mean that they're going to buy right away, but it shifts their belief to move into where I can actually help them. Because if someone came to me right now and said, "Hey, here's 4,500 bucks. I want to get into Atlas, and I'm selling this $97 thing." I can't really help them. It doesn't mean Atlas doesn't work. It just means that it's so much harder for them to follow what I'm teaching you here, the patience, the that people aren't really clicking, you're not putting them through funnels, like all that stuff with a $97 product, because you're not making any money. Whereas if you're um, doing a higher product like $1,000, which is probably even low, but like a $2,000 product and above, you can make a whole lot more money and spend the same amount of time looking at that client. So, I mean, that's one shift where I'm constantly talking about that. And I'm not trying to convince anybody. I'm just saying, this is how I build my business. This is where I can help you the most. So if you wanted to get to $100,000 in a year, then it's probably easier. It is easier for me to help you do that. I'm not guaranteeing it'll happen, but it's so much easier for me to help you get 50 people as opposed to 5,000 people, you know? And so that's where I keep talking about these things, and the shifts hopefully the beliefs shift for the right person and they come in and they want to work with me. Okay. So that's where the sale um, transfer is happening. Then it's all about this, right? Remove all pressure and scarcity. Dream customers commit when they feel safe and ready, not rushed. This is a huge one. This is something where this is part of the third pillar, which is respect their timeline. I'll put that in here again. So this is part of respect their timeline. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be pressured into buying something. I want to know, I want to be ready for when it is. And, short rant on the off topic here, maybe it's on topic, but I just wrote a post about this where there's so many coaches who are in that you got to buy now type of thing and getting you to do anything and everything to pay them, um, mortgaging your house and all these other kind of things, right? Split your holdings. And it really just gets under my skin. So that's not what we want. We want all pressure removed. We want all scarcity removed. The only real scarcity is the fact that maybe you have to get in by February 5th because my the cohort is starting and then you can't get in until the next one. That's real scarcity. It also could be about the price going up, which is what I did building my business. When I started the first cohort, it was $1,000, then it was 1,500, then it was 2,000. So that was real scarcity. It wasn't where, okay, it's just it's just something to get you to buy right now on my timeline. So those was where you can use scarcity to an authentic way, right? That is what that's how dream customers are going to find you. They're going to find you because you demonstrate and you wait, right? You don't, it's not about how do I sell something today? It's not about, where is it? Was that there? Yeah, it's not selling today, right? It's about serving today. How do I serve today? That's what it's all about. If you do that and you focus only on how do I serve and you let go of how do I make money today? I know it's really hard. Trust me, I really do. But I mean, I was on, I don't know, I can't even count how many clarity calls, breakthrough calls, whatever you want to call them, that I was trying to convert somebody from that call early on, and it never really worked. And I think they can feel it. Somebody can feel when you're on the other side trying to get them to buy something, right? And no matter how cool it was, or how calm I was or whatever, it never really worked for me. And then one day I said, screw it. I'm just going to totally do a breakthrough call and help them with a problem that they really, really have and let go of money or conversion being the end result of the call, right? And once I did that, then I realized, then what happened was a percentage of people, right? The 20% of the people who are true fits asked, how can I work with you because you solved this problem today? So I'm not talking about that it happens all the time, but it was so much easier to make the sale because I wasn't selling anymore. And then I took that idea and said, why don't I just do this in the public, like the way I market, instead of having every call has to have a CTA or every post has to have a CTA and all these other things that we've been taught. That wasn't me. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying that's just wasn't gelling with me. And as soon as I let go of it, that's when people started to buy. Now, on the I guess on the lower side of it, or the not so cool, not so positive side of it, it takes a little bit longer to build the business because you don't have all these leads coming in. And it's kind of funny because I laugh. I get these emails every second day, like, "Hey, we can bring you 20 qualified leads," and it's the last thing I want. I don't want to be talking to 20 qualified leads every single day. I just want to be talking to 20 really qualified people per year, right? And that's it. And so I'd rather just build on the high end of stuff, knowing that the money and the transactions and the conversions and all those other things are coming because of the way that I serve. That's how dream customers find you. You could do it whichever way you want to. You can go out and you can try to find them yourselves and put them through funnels and all these things. And I'm not saying it's not going to work, but for me, it was a really hard way to build the business. And I believe that if you're heart centered, if you don't want to be an aggressive marketer and all these things, you don't want to bro market, this is the way to do it. The only downside to this, if there is that you cannot see people, or you cannot see the dream customers, right? You can't see them. Oops, do that here. You can't see them while they are engaging with you on the sidelines, right over here. They're watching you from the sidelines. So that's basically the gist of it. I don't see any questions here, so I think we are good. I'm hoping this helped you out. If you do have questions after the fact, if you're watching the replay, let me know with the hashtag replay, and put it, if you want to comment or you want a question answered, whatever, put it into the comments and I will come back and answer them for you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, we're going to do the top 10 questions that I have been asked over the last coming up to 4 years now with the Kajabi Dream Customer Workshop. I'm going to be answering them once a week. So this one was, how do I find dream customers? And this is the way that you do it, because you don't find them, they find you. Have yourself an amazing, amazing night. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.